Honorable Men Discord. Texas high school teacher cries over students' illiteracy. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm going to go straight to this video, which is courtesy of TMZ, and I just have a reaction video also to play right after that. But the question is who do we hold accountable for this? But before we answer that question, listen to what the teacher had to say. Let's get to it.
So I am on my lunch break. It is, 11:30 or something like that. And I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem. And they couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2. And I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, and they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls oh, God.
All right. So what I said in the beginning was who do we hold accountable for this? And not in any particular order. So what I'm about to say, it's not in any particular order. The school. I'm gonna hold the school accountable. Reason being is because how were they able to make it to senior level for this teacher to discover that they can't read? How was that even possible? Now, I know there's a thing called leave no student behind, but they need to remove that. It's either you get the hang of the curriculum for your level, or you just don't move forward. I know some parents won't like that because if you're the parent of a child that's having difficulty with their schoolwork, you don't want to hear that. You don't want your child feeling embarrassed. The child doesn't want to be embarrassed. I understand that it's a tough thing to do, but you're only doing the child a disservice by moving them along, and they don't know what they're doing. Reading is so essential. It's just I'm not here to say which subject is acceptable to just move children along, but reading is not one of them. Reading is so essential in this life that I can't imagine how those students were able to make it to senior level and they can't read. Him making this video, first of all, I don't even know if the school's going to let him go, because if I notice this as an issue that the school may be accountable for, the school itself might notice that he's putting a spotlight on them, because the school has to answer to why these students can't read. How is that possible? Now, the other individuals or individual that I would say is accountable is the parents. Parents or parent, guardians, they're responsible. They're responsible as well. But even if there's neglect by the guardian or by the parents, again, how is it possible for those students that can't read to make it to senior level? The school system is allowing it. That particular school system out in Texas. Are other schools doing this? I don't know. This is my first time coming across a teacher crying on social media about the state of the students' lack of literacy. This is the first time I'm seeing something like this. I don't know if this has been done in the past by other teachers, but this is the first time I'm seeing something like this. And it's insane to hear that. Then the next question is, how many of the students out of his class are unable to read? Because he didn't go into specifics. He didn't say, oh, I have 20 students and 15 out of the 20 can't read. And I'd like to know those numbers. That matters to me. Since he decided to go on social media, I'd like to know those numbers. I'm just out of curiosity. Is it the entire class? If it's the entire class where he was asking someone to read and no one stepped forward to read, that's the reason why he's crying on social media. And then again, not only just the school, but the teachers, because he's a teacher speaking out against this. And again, I think he may potentially be jeopardizing his job. But if they let him go because of the exposure to that particular school, I'm sure he could countersue. But that's not what this episode is about. But the teachers that were involved in all those students moving right along, the teachers that maybe gave them passing scores so that they could graduate, they're liable as well. Not just the physical building, not just the school itself, the specific school, but the teachers that are involved in knowing that these students can't read. They're responsible as well. They're liable. They're accountable. Make no mistake about it. The person above me says, we need more paper, pencil, and less Chromebooks. And I'm assuming they just mean the old method of teaching as opposed to all this technology. I'm assuming that's what that person means. Nemo Guppy 2000. Technology? Is technology the problem with this? Is it technology? Is it the community? Is it the... What is it? Is it the district? The last person, I'm not going to read the second one. The last person put, what happened to getting held back if you did pass? Clearly, unfortunately, and I would need someone who's in education to speak to this. You could, if you're watching this episode, jump in the comment section. The problem is that the school's operating like a business. And this is my observation as an outsider. I do not have a background in education as far as being a teacher. I've never worked in the educational field. But I would say this. It seems as though the schools are operating like a business, and what's most important to the business is appearing to be consistent with the numbers. You do not want to show high numbers of failing students. That's a bad reflection on the school. Whatever funding the school is getting from the state or what have you, that affects the funding. They have to show that the school is productive. It's useful. It's an asset for that community. So he's speaking about a set of children, but is this like an inside look at the entire school? What's going on in that school? He hasn't mentioned the school for good reason. One, that's not what this episode is about. That's not what his video was about. It's not about the specific school. It just says a Texas high school. But again, this is horrible. And that Texas high school has some explaining to do. Let's see if there's more information on that school. All right, so the teacher's name is Darius Williams. Oh, they mentioned the school's name. A teacher at Wheatley High School in Houston posted the video. Oh, so the school name is out there. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to still have a job after this. If he does, and I'm wrong, I'm happy for him. I'm not wishing him that he loses his job, but the school is out there. So the school has some answering to do on this, and I don't even know if this video made it to the news in that area. Again, those of you watching this episode, if you happen to be from that area, has this made the news in your area? Completed a 3-hour class with seniors who were about to go off to college. He said he was hoping that they go to college. You're not going to college if you can't read. And I'm not saying that to deter those students. I'm not saying that to speak ill of them. I have no stake in that. I would love for them to carry on with higher education if possible. But if you can't read, just don't even do it. College is a different level of academics, a lot of reading, all right? And if they can't read, just don't even do it. Just don't even do it. And I don't say that to be funny. It's they're not prepared for college if they're not reading. I'm going to go into this reaction, and then I'm going to conclude this. But what's your thoughts so far on what he had to say? What's your thoughts on the fact that that this is a real thing? Not one student, but students. Plural.
Teacher in high school teaching seniors, and they were doing a reading out loud exercise during school. And he said he broke down in the middle of class, a black male teacher. I didn't see what state it was, but I'm sure you've seen the video if you've been on social media today, because it's been everywhere. He broke down in class because there were so many kids in the class, black students at that couldn't even read 4-letter words. Not the 4-letter words we grew up not being able to say. The 4-letter words I'm sure they use on a daily basis, but the 4-letter words that they could not read to save their lives. Now, while I say the EBT education is nothing more than an extension of HBCU culture in America, which is not a good thing, and that predominantly white institutions would never dumb themselves down enough to be equal footing as a HBCU, but HBCUs accept these type of characters into their schooling because their standards are so low. Now, for a teacher to break down crying at the beginning of the school year because he sees the uphill battle he has, and he knows that none of these kids will qualify for any type of upper education past where they're at, it's sad. And I've been saying that all along. These teachers don't teach these kids to excel and be better people. They teach them to get out their way and get funding from democratic cities so they can fatten their pockets. And they don't even make any money. So at what point are you going to look yourself in the mirror and say, maybe we need to change? Skedaddle. Teacher in high school teaching.
So he said exactly what I said. It's about funding. It's become a business. It's become less, just based on this. I can't speak on education in other states, but just based on this, it's about funding. It's about business. It's not about whether or not the students leaving that institution are going to be successful. It's not about whether or not they're set and prepared for the real world. It's horrible. If you can't read, you can't even do basic things like if you want to go into the military, you have to take exams for the military. If you want to do a local city job, you got to take a test. You got to sit down and do multiple choice tests. You got to read the questions and answer. That is unbelievable. It's a tragedy that he would have to cry about that. And Listen, I'm speechless. The person above me, Marty Garin, says, I work at a high school. They can't read and they don't want to learn. All these kids want to do. Wait, all these kids want is to make videos and dress like strippers. I mean, kids. She put, I mean, all the kids. Excuse me. It's sad. We Technology is a gift and a curse. With the technology, we have a generation of arrogant children. Not all of them, but we have a generation of arrogant children that feel as though what adults have to say, particularly unks and aunts, is useless. They don't have anything valuable to tell them, and they look at like the bare essentials of life, like reading, as what's the point? I don't need to know how to read. I know how to scroll through an app. I could, when it comes to communicating, I could speak to the person. I could communicate what I want, what I don't want, what I don't like, what I like. What's the relevance of being able? What's the relevance of being able to read? Excuse
and
me.
they were doing
What's the relevance of being able to read and write? I think that's the curse of technology. This generation doesn't see value in basic things that we used to hold to a high standard when we were much younger. At least my generation. When I say we, my generation. This is wow. We could blame the parents for not following up on their children's curriculum, but again, the school system pushing the children from stage to stage, they're held accountable for that. They're the professional institution responsible for ensuring that the children are doing what they need to do at each grade level to prepare them for adulthood. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. The solution is the schools, that particular school, but schools in general need to do a better job and not just pass kids, not just move them along, regardless of how that may look for their institution. But I don't know what pressure the schools are on. This could be bigger than just schools. This could be bigger than schools. Again, I'm not well versed in education in the United States. I don't know the politics behind it. If there is politics behind it, I don't know why schools would push children along if they're not prepared, properly prepared to move along. I don't know, but it's obviously happening. Question is how many schools is this happening in, and in which states, and in which demographics? Is this a form of diversity, equity, and inclusion? Is this one of those things where we can't not pass the black and brown students because of how that would look? Never mind, for me, never mind how it looks. Are they qualified to move forward? And just how long has this been happening at that school? Because again, I'm worried about that teacher's his job. And not to say he won't rebound and get another job at another institution, but if he tries to go to another institution that's doing the same thing that this one is doing, he won't get the job. Because how many teachers stayed silent up until he decided to say something? Wow. Listen, that's all I have on this episode. What is your thoughts on all of this? What do you think is the solution? I don't have an immediate solution. I think I'm still blown away as I'm even speaking about this. I'm blown away by this. And yeah, this is the future. This is our future. Some of our future. How many students, how many grades before this particular group passed on, moved forward, not passed on, and had the same situation happening? How many other classes prior to this class were unable to read? A lot of valuable questions. A lot of not valuable questions. A lot of great questions. valid questions. A lot of valid questions. That's what I was looking for. A lot of valid questions on this. But listen, that's all I have on this. What is your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you all in the comment section. As always, tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And stay honorable.